origins of shame. So off the back of my last video, when I was talking about shame and where I kind of really struggle with it, obviously with therapy and stuff, we've been trying to work things through. I want to find the cause, the root cause of that. And a lot of people have sort of mentioned it in the comments on that video. They suffer with it themselves and they feel that it's something that they carry. It's very apparent that shame is something that somebody gives to us that we then carry with us. And weirdly enough, we then kind of replay it over and over and over. So it's almost like a negative belief system that's instilled in us at a really young age. And it becomes a belief system that we then carry with us forwards into our kind of, our own life when we grow up, to the point that it's something that keeps us down. And if we're heading into a situation that feels familiar, that needs a negative reinforcement, we then replay that shame thing back to ourselves that we picked up in early childhood. What I have discovered about it all is something I find very interesting. I was able to kind of recall really, really young memories when I first kind of sort of felt a little bit of shame. And it goes back to preschool. I remember an instant very, very well. I could take you to the exact building. I could take you to the exact room. Even if the toy's still there, I could even give you the toy that I was playing with at the time. It's that much of a, it's really, really deeply ingrained memory. It's not just kind of, oh, I think it was this. It's very, very much a real memory. So I was talking through that incident that happened with the therapist, and what I realised was, even at that young age, it must have been about like a young 4 or like 3-4 years old, that kind of age. There was a conversation that I had with my parents, and they weren't negative towards me. They just asked a comment about the situation. But internally, I felt that I messed up. I felt that I should have known, more than what I did, kind of thing. And I felt this feeling of what I can only describe now as basically shame. I felt that I'd let my parents down. What I found really interesting about that is I literally cannot remember any further back. It feels like that is one of my youngest memories, and sort of trying to remember beyond that. You're talking about, a time when you couldn't even walk, when you were crawling around. I don't really know anybody that can probably have memories from back then. So what I'm learning is, it's because of the environment that I grew up around. It's things that I experienced as literally like a baby at months old, those first almost 2 years of life. You're just a sponge and you just soak up the interactions of people around you and, the environment and how people treat each other, and then how it kind of eats and gets into you. And I find that really, it's sort of really stressful on one hand, because what I'm learning as I'm trying to, understand my mind and smooth out all the problems I have is, I'd like to know the why. I'd like to know sort of like, where did it start? What's the root cause of everything? So that I can, rationalize it, so that I can kind of understand it, so that I can potentially look at it in a new light, or we can break it down and try and get an understanding of it all. But with this, it's really tricky because I literally can't. I can't get to the root of it because it's a time beyond my memory. It's a time that, I cannot recall any information from. But it has had such a huge impact going forwards that makes me feel literally ashamed to be who I am as a person. And there's so much more attached to that. Like, I feel ashamed if I succeed and people praise me for the success that I've done, because it feels that I don't deserve it, and I'm always looking for the negative kind of like answer to everything. I don't feel that I deserve the positive recognition that I get. I don't know how to handle it. So you got to keep in mind that that is a belief system that has somehow been ingrained in me from a time that I don't even remember, but has a massive impact on me in the here and now, and has been in my old my life. And I am unable to get to the root cause of it and work out what the experiences I were around that have basically given me this feeling. So I sat there with my therapist and I was trying to think, I'm never going to be able to get to the root cause. I'm never going to be able to know. And I sort of looked at him and was like, is it relevant? Now, obviously, it is relevant because of where I'm at in today's world, like in the grown-up society and whatever else. The feeling and the impact that it has on me trying to navigate the situation is relevant. It's not a fake feeling. It's not something I can just throw away. But what I'm saying is it relevant that I know the cause? Or is knowing that there is a cause enough? You see what I'm saying? It's like if I don't know the very single individual event that was the root cause of the problem, does that matter? All I know is there is a problem that I have to work on. Because ultimately what we're trying to do is look forwards and work forwards. So if I'm unable to find that root cause, I can't work with it. I can't, untangle it and do it backwards. If you like, I can't look backwards and go, okay, this is the problem. Let's start to untangle it from here, work forwards. It's going to be one of those things that I have to start here. This is the start point. This is me acknowledging, okay, so this is a feeling that I carry. I don't remember why I feel this way. So if I don't remember why I feel this way, there's hope that we can undo it. And the example that I tried to give the therapist was the whole 4 monkeys in the cage scenario. I hear it so many times and it feels so relevant to so much stuff, but the long and short of it is you put 4 monkeys in a cage and you hang a banana in the middle. If the monkeys try to have the ladder, they try and climb up this ladder to get to the banana, you give them a shock. So what you end up doing is training those monkeys that if they go for the banana, they get a shock. Okay. And what you do is you take one monkey out and put a new monkey in. New monkey doesn't know that if he goes for the banana, he gets a shock, but the other 3 monkeys do. So the story goes, the new monkey will go for the banana, the other 3 will jump on him, beat him up. This happens a few times. What happens is that new monkey now realizes you go for that banana, you get beat up. So you swap out one of the other monkeys, take one of the original monkeys away, put a new monkey in. Now you've got 2 monkeys that know if you go to that banana, you're going to get a shock. 1 monkey that knows if you go to that banana, you get beat up. New monkey goes for the banana, 3 guys jump on him, beat him up. You end up going through this situation so much that you take all the monkeys out, go through 16 monkeys or something. So in the end, you've got a load of monkeys in there who all they know is, I go to that banana, I get beat up. The original reason why is so far gone. Nobody inside that cage now knows why this is happening. They just know that this happened. It feels like it's a similar thing in my brain. I don't know why it happens, but I do know that it happens. It's a case of trying to find out the cause. Is it relevant that I know if I go to that banana, I'll get electric shock? It's not relevant. The relevance is, if I go to that banana, I get beat up. Okay, let's try and work from that. Why is that? Let's ask some questions. Why is that? What happens if I do go to that banana though? And it's almost like you want to go, hang on a minute, guys. Let's not beat me up. Let's just try something here. And you make the effort to go to that banana, and lo and behold, you might not get the electric shock. You might not get beaten up. But if you do go to that banana and you get the electric shock, the cogs start turning, and now you get a little bit of understanding. So it's the same. It's the same. I know it's a long-winded, kind of tediously linked, but it feels the same. It's like you carry so much shame, and it is such a battle. The root cause of why you carry that shame is unknown, and it does affect you deeply. But it's a case of, okay, so let's move forward, right? What happens if I do something that earns some sort of praise from somebody else, and instead of having this feeling, which, let's be honest, you can't fully decide how you feel. Feeling is like an emotional response to a situation. So straight away, you're going to have that. Basically, you're going to have that learned response of like that feeling of shame. Instead of kind of running with that, it's going to be a case of like fighting against it, like putting up the why. Why do I feel like this? I did a good thing. Somebody acknowledged I did a good thing. That's a positive, right? Why do I need to feel shame for doing a good thing? You start to like unpick it and peel back the layers a bit. But I did find it really interesting that for a lot of people, if not potentially for everybody, shame originates outside of a time that we can remember. Shame is something that it's given to us. I don't like the way that they word it when they say it's given to you, but it kind of basically is. It's your experience of a situation and how people interact and respond with you in that situation, which then gives you this negative feeling. And it compounds over time, and it kind of, it's not your choice to feel that way. It's other people making you feel that way. So I guess given to you does kind of work. But for a lot of us, it happens, like I say, way back before we can remember. And then we go forwards, and it's a burden that we carry without fully understanding why we carry it. We just know it's really hard to shift. So that's, in terms of shame, sort of where I'm at now. It's working through it and trying to work out, okay, I know what feelings I am going to encounter because I've encountered them, for my entire life. I don't know why I feel like this, but I know that I'm going to feel this way. What steps can I do? What can I do, like in the moment, to slowly chip away at that negative feeling and replace it with something a little bit better? It's one that I find myself kind of asking questions, I suppose. Something that the therapist has got me kind of on board with is asking yourself, hang on a minute, why don't I deserve positive? Why do I instantly deserve the negative? Sit there after you've made an achievement and go, why am I trying to take this as a negative? And be honest about it, be rational about it. Don't just fall back onto, times of old where you're trying to find an excuse to, oh, it shouldn't be a good thing because there's 9 times out of 10 there isn't one. Even, you know what, even if you get lucky, even if you wing it, you can just smile and go, it was luck, but I'll take it. And you've got to turn that negativity around. And I feel with shame especially, it's going to be something that's really hard, just simply because, one, of how broad it is for me and how much like it is in a lot of stuff for me, and two, because it is so deeply rooted. It's like a ball of twine that's really tangled up, is the best way to describe it. And you're trying to unpick it. You're trying to unpick it from like the middle as well. That's the worst thing. It's like you can't find the end to start unpicking it. You've got to start unpicking it from the middle. So it's going to get a little bit tangly. It's going to get a little bit knotty. It's going to get worse, and sometimes it's going to get better, and sometimes it's going to take a lot of time. But it was very interesting. I think I discovered quite a lot about myself that I'm not too sure how to process, because, long story short, it sounds like I can't really do mental struggles correctly either. And I'll get onto that in a different video, because it's quite an interesting one, at least from my perspective anyway. I just thought I would come and discuss the origins of shame, and I don't know, maybe it resonates with a few people. Maybe people will understand it. Maybe some way or another it might help people just to kind of look at themselves and their own struggles a little bit easier and realize that there's a lot of us out there that are in a battle problem. We don't actually remember why it's a problem anymore. We don't remember why we have these feelings. We don't really know what goes on. We're just dealing with the result of the situation. It's like you injure yourself 10 years ago or something, and you're in today's world and you wake up and you take some painkillers to stop the pain. You can't even remember why you're hurting anymore. All you know is that you're hurting. That's kind of where we're at with shame. We don't know why it's such a crippling thing. We don't know why we feel so much shame. We just know that we feel it. And I think the big moment for me was when I questioned relevance. Is it even relevant that I do know the root cause? It's not relevant. All I need to know is that there is a cause, and I will never ever really know what that cause is. So don't get too hung up on the cause. Fix the feeling, fix the stuff that we can deal with. Don't need to understand it. Don't know it. We'll never know it. One of those things, you'll never know it. You gotta let that go, make peace with that, and then try and work forwards. It's going to be blinking hard, that's for sure. But we will try our best. See you again in a bit. Take it easy, you lot.